Thank you. Taoiseach made a fine speech at COP27. He said, if this generation doesn't step up urgently, future generations will not forgive us. As leaders, it is our responsibility to drive the transformation necessary. In Ireland, the government has set legally binding emissions reduction targets of 51% by 2030 and has committed Ireland to becoming climate neutral by 2050. The only problem is that he doesn't mean a word of it. He didn't mention the fact that we're going to miss all of those targets, that this year, instead of emissions going down in agriculture, in electricity, in transport, they're actually going up, they're actually increasing. He didn't mention the €30,000 a month agreed in the budget to give to data centres responsible now for using more electricity than all of the rural homes in Ireland combined. He didn't mention the continued commitment to the industrialised model of agriculture, which is our #1 emitter of carbon, and the refusal to move away from it. He didn't mean a word of it. He is a gross hypocrite. The problem for the whole world is that he's not the only one. All the world's leaders are in it together. It's why they can come together and say we're going to save 1.5 and then agree a set of targets nationally which amount to an increase in temperature of 2.7 degrees and then actually be on track for an increase of something like 3.5 degrees. And those who are suffering the most, the people suffering from the floods in Pakistan, the drought in China, the hundreds of thousands of people who are facing likely death in the Horn of Africa as a result of famine caused by climate change. Because it's all fine words, but as the UN Secretary General said, the politicians are saying one thing, big business are saying one thing, but doing another. Simply put, they are lying. And the reason they're lying is because they are wedded to an ecocidal capitalist system which is based around profits of the big fossil fuel corporations globally, and in this country based around the profits of big agribusiness. It's why we absolutely have to essentially overthrow this system and need eco-socialist change. I want to raise the point about loss and damage, where last year the EU, with the backing of the Irish government, betrayed billions of people in the global south by refusing to back a loss and damage fund at COP26. It was devastating for all those who have been campaigning for so many years, a defining failure of COP26. Rich countries are responsible for 90% of the emissions that are causing climate breakdown, but the most serious effects hit those in the global south. So loss and damage is once again a crucial issue at COP27. Can we get a clear commitment that the government will not repeat last year's betrayal and will give unequivocal backing for the establishment of a loss and damage fund at COP27? I also want to deal with the issue of the Energy Charter Treaty. Over the last couple of days, we've been treated to all sorts of nonsense by the Taoiseach, telling us how investor court systems are normal, a regular part of trade, and so on. Ireland is only part of one investor court system at the moment, and that is that under the Energy Charter Treaty. This is a rotten treaty designed to protect energy companies' investments and profits, which in practice means protecting the interests of fossil fuel companies. Through that, we are signed up to an investor-state dispute settlement system, the only one unless we ratify the CETA investor courts. Oil, gas and coal firms have already been awarded over $100 billion by the Energy Charter treaties, and, to quote The Guardian, as countries have sought to curb their emissions in line with the Paris Climate Agreement after 2015, the number of claims being brought has exploded. For that reason, many European states are leaving the Energy Charter Treaty or have announced that they're going to leave. Italy has withdrawn. Other major EU states, including Germany, France, Spain, Poland, Slovenia and the Netherlands, have announced their intention to withdraw from this unjust, environmentally criminal treaty. So I want to ask the government, will the Irish state be withdrawing from this anti-environment, anti-worker, pro-fossil fuel company treaty. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Deputy Mark Costa.